You don't really see yourself represented anywhere in media or the world. So I guess in second grade, I was sent to speech therapy by my second grade teacher because I had a lisp when I was speaking. Like I pronounced like mother, and father, father, so I didn't pronounce the TH sound. And my second grade teacher basically thought this was like a speech deficit or whatever. So she made me stay in for recess every day and make me practice reading out of children's books, like reading and like pronouncing the words like over and over again until I got them right according to her standards. So that entire year I never went out to recess. It was not a fun year. Like I remember feeling really embarrassed or ashamed every time I was supposed to speak. So yeah. I moved to China when I was 10 and then came back when I was 14, and I guess being Asian in high school with other Asians who didn't have experience with being in China, or you know, who are like super assimilated, like super into white culture and stuff, like I guess that was sort of like, it wasn't lonely exactly, but it was alienating sometimes. I like the smell of rain and grass. And grass. My first language was Chinese, Mandarin actually. 赌气十万，清醒时自由自在。Do do do do. I didn't really speak English until my parents packed me off to preschool, and then I sort of just picked it up there. I don't even really come out to people for the most part. It's just sort of like after a while you realize I look really gay. But I came out to my family twice actually. So once in high school where they didn't believe me and told me I didn't know what I was doing basically. And then after first semester at college, I came out to them again because I had a partner at that time, and so I wanted to like let my family know about her. And they reacted really, really badly. I guess like having a partner made it like real for them. And like as a result of that, I almost didn't come back to school. Like they threatened to like cut off I guess like funding my education here at MUD, and sort of like kick me out of the house. As long as like I perform a certain identity, it's all fun and good at home.
I'm trying really hard to look into the camera. Does it look bad? Is my eye contact too much?
It is too much.
I enjoy doing outdoorsy things. Like I like going to the beach and hanging out with my friends. I also like to play basketball. I really like hiking. Well, actually, like even though I'm like naming off all these physical activities, I'm like really out of shape right now. So like I haven't done much. I don't know if there was like one moment where I realized that I was queer. I kind of like, I remember like in 10th grade I was dating this guy, and I was kind of like, I wonder if it would be like to date a girl. When I told my brother that, he was like, oh, so you're trisexual? And I was like, what's trisexual? And he's like, oh, you'll try anything, yeah? And I was like, not amusing. Don't film that one. That one was bad. I guess my first crush on a girl was like in high school, like I didn't realize what was going on. I was like, oh, I kind of want to know you, but like more than a friend, because you're really cool and you're really pretty. And then I kind of realized it. I was like, oh my God, what if I kind of like have a crush on her? Then it kind of freaked me out. No, it definitely freaked me out a bit. I'm not gonna lie. It freaked me out. I came out to my older brother, and it was scary because like I still hadn't fully like accepted being queer. But it wasn't. It was actually a relief, because what happened was he's gay and he came out to me, and then after he came out to me, I came out to him. So like he was really shocked, because no one, I mean, I had boyfriends before and they never like kind of expected me to be queer. So it was really nice to have someone there who could kind of like understand what you were going through. And it was kind of like a secret that like, I don't know, you finally told. So it was like a burden that was taken off of you. My mom kind of treats me differently ever since I came out to her. It's not like a huge difference, but it's definitely like, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. So before, she used to like always tell me that I was her favorite child, and I don't know, she just doesn't do that anymore. And then when I do come home, she kind of like tries to tiptoe around the subject of my sexuality and my relationships. Yeah, and our conversations are kind of superficial, because like before I mean, I used to tell her a whole bunch of stuff. Like I used to tell her about all my ex-boyfriends and like, you know, just our relationships. But like now I hardly talk to her. And when I do talk to her, yeah, it's just very superficial level. I'm not out to my dad because my brother came out to him, and he didn't take it very well. Well, it's not like he disowned him. He just like, it like shocked him. My mom kind of like hints to my dad like, oh, like what if Jen was gay too? And then he's just like, oh my God, don't joke about that. Like it would break my heart. I have to tell him eventually, hopefully sooner than later, but my mom actually told me not to tell him and to wait for the best time.
Maybe this is just my own perception of things, but like just like, you know, like watching movies and stuff, like everybody has like a gay uncle basically, right? Like nobody cares. And you know, like if I had a gay uncle, we probably would never talk about it, you know, like I think, yeah, it's just different. In my spare time, I like to sleep a lot. I'm pretty small. So like, you know, small kittens and babies, like small mammals need to sleep a lot. So I try to average like 10 hours, but it's hard to do with school. So I'll have like, you know, 20-minute window of consciousness every day. So like, you know, when you get me then I can be like really excited, but most of the time I'm just like a zombie. I guess I look more Asian than anything else. So people don't really, like, I don't know, come up to me and ask me like where I'm from, because you know, they just, if they do, they already assume that it's from an Asian country. Actually, my mom is half white, so people are more surprised to find out that I am multiracial. But what's interesting is that like after the fact, then they'll be like, oh, I got it. Of course you're multiracial, you know, like I can see it now, you know, that whiteness in you. What was interesting growing up was that like, you know, when I moved to Texas, they put me in an ESL class. And
you know, I didn't really understand that at the time because I was from California, you know, it's not like they don't speak English in California. And I was communicating with the person in you know, perfect English. It's my first language. But I guess it didn't really matter, you know. They were still gonna put me in there based on the fact that, like, you know, I wasn't white. So that was a terrible time. I didn't understand like why I was there. It's totally useless. This past winter, actually, I told my little sister. Okay, it was funny because maybe I was on some substances or whatever. It was making me feel pretty touchy-feely. And, you know, I was like, Pizza, come here. Oh, that's her nickname. And she's like, what? And I was like, oh, you know, like, kind of have something to tell you. And then she's like, oh my god, you're not gay, are you? And I was like, what? Like, what makes you think that? No? And then she starts laughing, and then she's like hitting the floor, and then like raising her fist to the sky, and she's like, I knew it! And I was like, oh, what? And you know, it like actually turned out better than I had anticipated because I was like really worried about it. And you know, she was totally cool, and like we talked for a bit, and then she asked me like, are you gonna tell mom? And I was like, do you think I should tell mom? And she was like, no, mom's gonna go crazy. And I was like, I know. I wouldn't want to like have to put them through that, like, you know, like emotional turmoil or whatever, or like even if, you know, they turned out to be accepting about it, it's like, you know, we have to deal with like our whole like extended family and like family friends, you know, that entire network that would probably, you know, judge them more than like they would judge me even. People would like, you know, of course ask me, and I would like always make everything into a joke. So like, you know, even now, like my parents ask me like if I have a boyfriend, and I tell them I have 5. So me knowing since I was a little kid has like played a role in like how I relate to my parents. You know, like I try not to depend on them for anything. Like I don't ask them for financial assistance, like hardly ever. And you know, like I'm just like pretty polite to them when I go home, but like I've never, you know, felt inclined to like confide in them about anything or feel more close than like we are. And I think it's because, you know, I'm kind of taking like preemptive measures, I guess, you know, in case I do tell them and it doesn't turn out well. At least like I'll be okay. And sometimes I think that might be a little bit selfish of me, but that's just how it is.